Bump. Hello, Nintendo fans. My name is Mario Master. What are we doing today? So, I wanted to do a little bit of content before getting on a plane and leaving this country for practically a week. So, this is going to be a review video. I'm hoping to get a Minecraft video out soon, probably tomorrow. Hopes tomorrow. If not, I'm sorry, because that's going to be the final day that I'm going to be able to do anything. And then Friday, I'm on a bus to Boston. So, um, here we go. Okay. So, we are going to be talking about the Lorax, the 2012 version, 11 years later. Now, the Lorax was a book written by Dr. Seuss and then later adapted to a short film, I'm pretty sure, which was animated in the 1980s. And then later in 2012, they animated the Lorax, and it was pretty good. All of them are pretty good, but we are talking about the 2012 adaptation. Now, what is the Lorax about? And what is the Lorax? Well, the Lorax is a book written by Dr. Seuss, who has written a bunch of rhyme books, and he's pretty well known. And the Lorax is one of the books he has written. Now, this book is about a little orange guy that has come out of a tree stump magically to warn this guy about chopping down trees and everything like that. And the main thing is, like, unless you care about nothing, it can't become something. It's a very good moral message. It comes across really well in the book and in the 1980 adaptation. But here's the thing. As per usual, we will go through everything that I like, dislike, plot, jokes, everything about this movie, like I usually do. So, the plot is as we go. So, once upon a time, a guy named the Onceler left his family to go sell this thing called a thneed, a product of 1,000. What is it? It's like a product of 1,000 jobs or something like that. It can do a lot of stuff, right? That's the point of a thneed, right? So he goes out to find a place where he can make these thneeds. He finds it, and he, cuts down a tree, and the Lorax comes out of nowhere in a bolt of lightning, and it's played by Danny DeVito, which makes it awesome. And Danny DeVito is like, "You chop down one more tree, you're gone. I don't want you here, okay?" So the Lorax, so Danny DeVito and the Onceler make a deal and they're like, "Okay, I won't chop down any trees, and you won't make me leave." So the Onceler makes a thneed, right? He goes out to freaking sell the thneed. It's not a success, not a success, not a success. And he's like, "Okay, I'm done." And then comes back, and the Lorax is like, "Okay, yeah, I expected that." But he's like, "Okay, you can stay. Like, we've gotten used to you at this point. We really don't care." So what then happens is a bunch of people are like, "Oh wow, yeah, the thneed is awesome. We want more thneeds." So the Onceler calls up his fam and he's like, "Hey guys, look, I'm a big shot now." So his family comes down and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna help you make needs." Well, then they manipulate him into cutting down trees, and the lorax is like, "Hey, this was not a part of the deal." And so it just becomes into the Onceler just chopping down every tree. And we'll get into that a little bit more. And then we cut to the Onceler's telling this kid named Ted, and then Ted, and if you've read the book, you know the story. And the Onceler gives the seed to Ted. He's like, "You need to plant it in the middle of the town," and Ted does it, and the movie ends because there's a bunch of trees everywhere now. Watch the movie; it's on Netflix right now. So the movie is pretty basic. It gets its point across. It's pretty straightforward. But my main problem with it is that it doesn't hit as hard as it should. Now, the thing is, this story is very meta because what it's all about is people just grinding the world and genuinely just not giving a shit about other people, which is what the Onceler is about. He chops down all the trees, but he really doesn't realize that it's happening. So the Onceler has a bunch of people chopping down all the truffula trees to make his needs and everything like that. And he doesn't realize what he has done until the last tree falls, and he's like, "Well, shit." And the lorax is like, "I tried to warn you." And then, whatever, fucking everyone fucks off. And then, I don't know, it's just, it doesn't do as hard as it should. Now, there are some pretty big names. I mean, there's Zac Efron, there's Taylor Swift, there's Danny DeVito, there's Rob Riggle, but no one cares about Rob Riggle. Rob Riggle is like one of the worst entertainers ever. He's not even funny. I don't even know if he's a he, honestly. I don't know. Look up Rob Riggle. So the story is very basic, and I understand that you want it to appeal to kids. I mean, this was 2012. Yeah, it's very meta, and that's the really only thing that makes it actually hold up today. So we'll get into that. So, what about the jokes? Are there jokes? So, on a level, there are jokes, but the movie is mostly a musical, and I can get behind that. Some musicals, like The Lorax, I can get behind. I cannot, although, get behind High School Musical. I would rather shoot myself. But we don't talk about that on this channel because guess what? High School Musical sucks. Fight me. But the songs are okay. There were some cut songs that I feel like that could have been used, and everything like that. There's a lot of deep lore with this movie. Things being cut, songs being cut, a lot of stuff that could have made this movie better, which were cut because of corporate meddling. There's actually a full video, one of my favorite review videos, actually, of one of the songs being cut. It's by the Sin Squad. It's very good. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description. So go check that out. It's by the Sin Squad. Look up cut song. If I forget, look up cut song from the Lorax, cut Onceler song from the Lorax, and you should find it. Anywho, there's not a lot of jokes, but some stuff is like, that's pretty funny, but it's not like ha 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 ha. Now, how I feel about this movie is very mixed, because now we get into the point of like, well, does this movie still stand out? Does this still um could this still hold up today? Yes and no. So yes, to the extent on a meta level, because this movie is very meta. And what I mean by that, it could still mean something today, where we need to, change how we look at the world, and we can't just keep grinding it to make us more money, because we can't do that forever, and then the world blows up and then we're fucked. We can't keep doing that. you know no, to the extent that the movie is kind of trash. It's not very good, um because of the fact that it doesn't, what I feel, get the message across well enough. And it just doesn't do what it sets out to do well enough. I wish it did what it set out to do, and it just doesn't do it, and it bugs me. Now, I would rate this on a scale of 1 to 10. I would rate this at least a 5. No. Well, a 3. Maybe a 2. We'll go with 2. I would rate this a 2. There's no way this movie is a 5. I don't know what I ranked Rango, but I'm pretty sure I ranked it like a 2 or 3, which I still agree with. Like, I may have put it at a 4. I might change it to like a 4, but like this movie is definitely a 2. But like the animation is okay. It's not too uncanny, but there's just so much potential behind the lorax. It's very untapped potential that it could have had, and it could still hold up today. And it just doesn't do it the way I think they wanted it to. Now, I feel like this would do better if it was made today. I mean, it does good whenever it was made, but it would definitely do better today, focusing on the newer generations. And I think this movie should be enforced a lot more, because it's so meta. We need to, because we're always being watched, we need to enforce change, because if we don't, nothing changes. It's very much like, this is going to sound wrong, but it's kind of like feminist groups. I am all for, feminism, women deserve equal rights. I agree with that. But also, if you just stand there, because all feminists do is complain. They don't actually do anything. All they do is complain, right? They're not going out there and changing anything. All they're doing is gathering and complaining about it. They're not changing anything. They're not going out to change, and that's the main thing that's wrong with this movie, is that that's the point of this movie, is that we need to stop doing nothing, care about, because like the main point is like, if you care about nothing enough, it's going to become something, which works out in reality. I care about this channel when it was nothing, and now it has become something. Right? I mean, like, that's how it works. It's very meta in that way, but that's like the only thing that gives this movie a rating, in the sense that, yes, we should care about the earth. We should do what we want, but also it doesn't work. The movie just does not work in my eyes. But I feel like it could, because it could be better. Like, take out Taylor Swift's character. You don't need her. I don't know why she's even in it, but it's mainly because Ted, friggin' played by whoever I said, because like that's like the love interest for Ted, and you don't need that. One of the original songs for the movie was Ted wanting everything, and what like the song lyric for the beginning of the song was like, all I've ever wanted was the stuff I don't have, which is very much a materialistic way to look at the world. I want everything, and I want the stuff that I don't have. It's very materialistic. And that's the reason that Ted should want a tree, because he doesn't have it. And then the Onceler tells this story about, him just destroying the world, and it changes Ted's outlook on life, and that this materialism that he's lived behind is destroying the world, and it just doesn't work out. So on a meta level, this movie gets a 4. But the end product gets a 2. 100%. Now, things I would change. I think that the Onceler was perfectly fine without a face, because in the original 80s one, he was just hands, and even in a book he was just hands. You couldn't see the Onceler, which stood for faceless corporation, who don't care about anyone else. They just care about making money, which was very smart on Dr. Seuss's part, where he was like, it's a faceless corporation. You cannot see who's running it. It's very smart that way. They give the Onceler a face and they make him more relatable. I don't want to relate to the character that I know I'm supposed to not like. And when he sings How Bad Can I Be, he sings it to the audience. The only time he's really, in world is to fuck around with Danny DeVito and the bears that live in there, and like, because he's so unaware of what's going on. One thing that this movie also gets wrong is that there's not enough time of the once dedicated to the Onceler's slow descent into what he becomes, and it's just a faceless, unforgiving maniac who just wants to make money. It dedicates 80% of its runtime. That is a humongous percent, which means only 20% of its runtime is dedicated to main story plot and in its main characters, and I love that, because you actually get to see the Onceler's descent into an uncaring capitalistic person who just could give two shits, and I love that. The 2012 version only devotes 4% of its runtime to the Onceler's growth, and I don't like that, because it doesn't show enough of the descent into corporate greed, and it doesn't work as well as it should, which is why the 80s one, is whenever the fuck it was made, is better than this one, is because there was a lot more time put into it, and you can really tell that there was a lot more care. But what can you really do? But because I'm pretty sure that this movie was really dumbed down because of corporate meddling. And corporate meddling has always been a thing and a topic in these videos, where which is why a lot of these movies aren't ranked as high as you would think I would rank them, because of corporate meddling. And corporate meddling you can't really control on a level. But look at Mitchell's versus Machines or Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where there's little to no corporate meddling, and they turn out to be absolute gems of animation and comedy, and I absolutely love them. It's just awesome. And I think what Sony is doing is great. Keep doing it. Let animators do what they want without interfering too much. And that's a great way to make good movies. And I mean good movies. Because I like Missiles vs. Machines. I like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Those are definitely up on the 10 ranks. Maybe not Missiles vs. Machines, but that's definitely like a 7 or an 8. It's a good movie. There's just some stuff that I don't really like about it. But there is stuff that could be fixed in this movie, and I think the Onceler could have been smarter with how he dealt with the disappearance of just all the trees. But I think that's like an entire different video that I need to make. What if the Onceler was smart? And I'll probably make that video. But we'll see what happens. So, final decision, definitely a 2. Does it still hold up today? On a meta level, yes. But in general, the story just falls. It's just not as good as it could have been. I do like this movie. I do think there's potential behind it, but it didn't do what it was set out to do, I don't think. I mean, it did what it was set out to do, but it didn't do it well, Task failed successfully, really, so. Anywho, this is going to be the final review video before I am on a bus to Boston, and then I am on a plane to Chicago and then London. I don't know why we're going to Chicago. I don't know what we're doing in Chicago. We're not even on a connecting flight. We're going into the country more instead of just driving down to Boston and then chipping out this way. But we're going this way. It makes no sense when you think about it, but whatever. Clearly they want to fly dangerously over Russia. But whatever. We'll see what happens. So this is going to be the final review video before I am on a plane to London. And do not worry, I'm going to be uploading as much as I can. I'm going to be doing as much content as I can do. So look forward to that. I am once again hoping to get at least one Minecraft video, maybe one more stream. I'll see what happens. I can't really control life. So that's what's gonna happen. I might be able to pump out another stream. We'll see what happens, but I really want to dedicate at least one more Minecraft video before Friday. So that's it. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also don't forget to check out my Twitter, Discord, and Cash App, all linked in the description below. I feel like I was going to talk about something different, and now I can't remember what I was going to talk about. Oh, okay. So, I am actually going to make that video about what if the Onceler was smart. But if I might forget, because that I'm not going to release that video until I come back from London. So we'll see what happens. But once again, thank you everybody so much for watching. We are very close to 300, by the way. Thank you guys so much. We're not going to get there before April break, but I'm okay with that. That was just a little sub goal, but I really don't like pressuring you guys to subscribe. It's your choice. I feel like it's like if you like blah blah blah, you should subscribe. And it's like, no, just stop. Like, I just like, hey, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you enjoyed, you can do it. If you didn't, it's your choice. You can always just unsubscribe later. I think it's your guys' choice, you know. To find out, please subscribe for part 2. Like, that's so deceitful. Like, don't do that. But that's it. Peace.